So, I mean, because of lockdown, because of this world, we thought, let's go online and let's gather online and let's figure out a way to inspire and build communities. So that's what we're doing. So
Yay.
today I have Leyla Hussein.
Hi. Oh my God. We go way back. We go so way back. People don't know that though.
I was just actually, I just had that beautiful image. Remember, we were in London at that huge conference.
Yeah.
Stella McCartney was walking
The
around.
summit.
Angelina Jolie was walking around. I mean, they were far away.
They were far away. We could see them from a distance.
Yeah. And then you and I just met. It's like we had known each other forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Even now, I haven't seen you in so long, but as soon as I saw you, seriously, I got really tearful. I'm like, oh my God. There are people you will always be connected to. Yeah. Yeah. So sisterhood. Yeah. Me too. I really literally feel like that even right now. So we go way back, and it's I think it's such a and it's weird because I can share this with you. I actually woke up this morning with challenged sisterhoodships and really questioning that. And then you came in and it was like, oh, it's okay. It's like, it's fine.
I hear you.
It's fun. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to be in person again. My mother told me that 2021 is going to be a great year, and I believe her.
Yeah.
So
no, I really will. It will. It's really changed us. It really has changed us. We will never be the same again.
Yeah.
But relationships are important. Very important. And kindness. Oh my God, the world needs so much kindness. That's all I can give right now. It's like, it's we've been so mean for so long. So for me, it's like kindness is what we're going to have to work really hard towards 2021. Definitely.
I love that. Well, let me read your bio for those people that don't know you. They're in for a treat. I pulled it up. Okay, I'm just going to give a short little bio. So this is Leyla Hussein, and she is a psychotherapist specializing in supporting survivors of sexual abuse. She's a leading international campaigner on female genital mutilation, FGM, and her passion is to empower women and girls. She founded the Dahlia Project, the UK's first specialist therapeutic service for FGM survivors, and co-founded anti-FGM charity Daughters of Eve. She created the groundbreaking Face of Defiance project, I remember that, which is a series of photographic portraits and interviews with FGM survivors. As a writer, she's been published in national and international media, and she appears regularly in print and broadcast. She was named Cosmo's Campaigner of the Year in 2010. She was included in the BBC's 100 Women list in 2013, Women's Power Hour list of 2014, and as one of the UK's most influential people. Oh my gosh, I just got nervous. And she has an Order of the British Empire. Those letters after her name. I remember when that happened too. It was such an amazing moment. Oh my gosh, I watched it live from my home. I was so excited. Anyway, it's a joy to have you. I'm so proud.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So a lot of folks that are tuning into this program, this summit to feel empowered and connected to women from all over the world, they don't know your story. So if you wouldn't mind telling us your story and how you became a campaigner.
Yeah, it's weird because I didn't even know I was a campaigner. I think activists are naturally, this is who we are. I think since my mom would tell me, Leyla, you've been always calling out injustices since I was a kid. Like it could be like if someone was given the wrong sweets, or not the right amount of sweets, I will be the person coming in to say, I don't think that's right. So this idea of speaking out was something that was embedded in me from a very young age. But I think I stepped into this space as an activist because I have an experience of not having justice and experiencing female genital mutilation at the age of 7. I think has left this feeling of, I guess I'm still trying to get justice for myself, but I'm doing that by ensuring it doesn't happen to another child my age. And that's really what led me to 18 years later. But what led me to this work really was I ended up having a daughter. And there was a health professional that asked me, have you undergone this? And my response was, oh, yeah, of course I have. It wasn't a big deal. And I was a girl who was raised in the West because people have an assumption someone with my accent would not think FGM is okay. And for me, that was a turning point in my life because For one, I was put in a position where I was actually, I guess I was told I was a potential perpetrator of violence against my daughter. And hearing that as a mother, that's quite a scary thing to hear. But also the way that, this health profession spoke to me was not judgmental. She took the time to educate me, but she was really honest with me. She was very direct. She didn't tiptoe. I think what people do around when they talk to women like me, Black women from Africa, with something that they call traditional harmful practice, people feel they need to be tiptoeing when they speak to us. And Jennifer Bourne, this nurse, didn't do that. She treated me like an intelligent woman, a mother who needed to protect her child, but also recognizing, actually, I went to school in the UK and no one has ever taught me about my body. So my work started out of anger and needing this justice. And it wasn't just the undergoing FGM. I was really upset with my midwife, who did not say a word to me during my whole pregnancy, even though she could clearly see I had a scar. My school never taught me about my body. If my school taught me about my body, I might have known something was different. So it was out of really anger I stepped into this space. It was like, why? So I was asking for answers. Why hasn't my school given me the information? Why didn't my midwife say anything? Because, my pregnancy and birth could have been a better experience for me. But that led to obviously recognizing also it was never just about FGM. There's a system that allows FGM to continue, which is the patriarchal system that says we control the female body, we control female sexuality. And for me, that's, again, another turning point, because it was, how the hell do we even unpack this without understanding the foundation that it actually comes from? So I'm very much aware that I'm still controlled by this system. So every day it's a fight. So my daughter became the big muse of my work. So my work has been, how do I ensure that my daughter Feroz isn't physically harmed? She gets equal pay. She has access to whatever she wants, because she is Black girl child, most vulnerable human being in the world currently. That's facts. So she has access. She's physically protected. She's not violated. So all of that compasses into it. So right now, where I am with this work, we cannot talk about FGM without talking about race, gender, religion. Intersectionality is really the approach we have to take with this. And I guess as a therapist, I'm forever trying to create a safe space for us to have that conversation. Yeah.
What you just said about FGM not just being one element on its own, but being part of a big system, I think it connects so much back to the nurse who spoke to you, because when she spoke to you intelligently about it, when she didn't diminish you or patronize you, in a way, it was like she was giving voice and credence to the fact that there's this entire system, that you're not outside of the system.
Exactly. Exactly. Treating me like everybody else.
Right.
Because I think sometimes what we do, especially what white people do in this kind of situation, is to treat women that look like me different, as if we're not going to get it. But then what you're saying is, I'm not smart enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not even worthy of getting actual information. And that's very offensive. When I hear white people say to me, oh, we don't want to offend anyone, I'm like, no, this mutilating a child, we have to step in and say something. Actually, by not doing it, then you're saying it's okay, girls that look like this can suffer this way. And we really have to challenge each other that way all the time. I think we have to challenge each other. It's so important. We can't keep treating it differently. And that's what I really appreciated about Jennifer. She treated me like any other woman who walked in that room. And that's super important.
I have to ask you, though, because one of the things I think a lot of people are negotiating is this idea of allyship, and especially in the United States with this huge surge of attention to the racial injustice, and also the idea of supporting different movements for racial equality. I've seen this meme over and over again. It's beautiful. And it says, I may not understand, I understand that I will never understand. I've seen that over and over again. So help people figure out, how can you be a true ally, if that's the word we want to use? How can you be a true friend? How can you be a true sister and not tiptoe? Like, what is the line? How do people negotiate that?
I think one is being clear about your values. If you are saying you are for basic human rights, you don't want anyone to be discriminated, I think you have to really stand for that. But also check yourself. If you, as a white woman, cannot come to me and say to me, Leyla, actually, I'm against this. Why are we even saying this is a cultural practice? Because you're ensuring that your values are not compromised. It wouldn't be fair to you as a white woman to even interact with me because then what you're doing, if you're not saying anything, it's not even about me anymore. It's about you. You just compromise your whole values and belief system. And that's something I'm not willing to do with anybody, whether you're black, white, I don't care which color. Leyla, I'm very clear about my values and my beliefs. So I'm not going to pick and choose which, movement I support. However, I'm not going to entertain a conversation or allow a conversation where we're saying, oh, let's be careful how we talk to Paula about this because she might be offended by it. Listen, if we are harming children, to me, that's my value and belief system. You're harming a child, that is something, no matter which belief system we come from, we should come to that, because we should be on the same page on that one.
I agree.
We should know. I am so sick and tired of the narrative of when it comes to Black children, we're having a whole separate conversation. I'm so done with that conversation. And let me tell you, there are a lot of Black women who are offended and upset who are in this space right now. So I guess I'm asking to white women who hold those positions, please stop entertaining that, because then what you're saying is, I don't deserve to be treated like any other children. You're saying I'm different. And that's not acceptable either. So I think we need to start creating, this is why even you and I having this conversation is so important, because you hardly see this.
Yeah.
You hardly see this conversation. It's usually the narrative of, oh, be careful how we talk to African women, or be careful how we talk to this particular women. You're just putting that assumption on them because so the reality is, I'm just scared to tell you what I'm really thinking, so I'm going to put this on you. Instead of saying, actually, I don't agree with you, Leyla. I don't think we should say FGM is a traditional practice. I think it's child abuse. Touching a child's genitalia and cutting it with the blade, it's abuse. I don't know what else to call it.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's. I think I always say be clear about your values and principles and never compromise it for anybody. It's so important.
I think also, I'm just pushing you on this, so it's super clear, is that it follows then that non-African people can support African people, and African people can support non-Africans, like that we can all be one another's struggles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I'm fighting, anti-racism every day. I'm fighting for the human race. That I'm very clear about. I'm fighting for the human race. You and I have a connection, not because of our skin colors. It's just as women, our energy is connected. I know you're white, I'm Black, but our relationship is beyond that. Our connection is beyond that. So for me, it's the issues you bring to the table is my issue. The issues I bring to the table, I expect you to step in and go, hey, what platform can I create? For you to put this message out there. I think it's super, to me, that's what allyship looks like. Allyship is not you telling me what narrative I take on this, which happens quite a lot. And for me, that has to be any human injustices I see, I have to speak on it.
I have to tell you, when
go
I got choked up a few months ago, you sent me a WhatsApp and you said, Paula, I'm so sorry about the anti-Semitism that's being perpetrated in the UK.
Yeah.
And And unfortunately, all over the world, in the US, there's a huge
Yeah.
problem. And
Yeah.
it was that week that there was such bile being spewed
Yeah.
from some
Absolutely.
rappers. And Leyla, you're the only person that
Mm,
has ever reached out to me about
yeah.
anti-Semitism.
Wow. And this is, we
I'm
have to
like,
call
I'm
this
actually
bullshit.
getting choked
No, no,
up.
no, but it's bullshit, because because this is the bullshit needs to be called out in the world of human rights, because it's like we can only speak on certain things.
Yeah.
To me, you cannot be calling yourself an activist or human rights activist if you're not calling out all these injustices. And I remember actually when that happened, and it was really upsetting, especially as a Black person who experiences similar thing every day. Not to acknowledge that was it's crazy to me. To me, it's like that's how we should. That to me, that's what allyship looks like. And I sent you that message because I know what it's like to be picked on and bullied for who I look like and who I am, for my ethnicity.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. I messaged all my Jewish friends, and I was like, oh my God, this shouldn't be happening. I'm sorry that you have to witness this shit, because it's not so. But for me, it's, we have to call out, those especially who hold position. We need to, if please don't say you're standing up for people when you're picking and choosing. Listen, we're not in a Pizza Hut buffet. That's always my comment to that. Pizza Hut buffet, you can pick whatever you want, but when it comes to human rights, for me, it's not a Pizza Hut buffet, really. And I'm sorry that I was the only one that did that, but that has to change. To me, that's allyship. It's something you actively have to be involved in, not just calling you something that you just say on the side or not assuming. So yeah.
Okay. Swallowing my tears. Moving on. I want to speak to you a little bit also about something that's been very powerful in the conversations I've heard you speak about, the relationship with your mother and now the relationship with your daughter, because your mother was a part of the society
What happened to me?
of what happened to you, and how
Absolutely.
you've been able to forgive her and then in turn empower other women.
Do you know, I have to say I'm a particular lucky. I have a very lucky situation. I think my mother was very open to this conversation. By the time I wanted to have this conversation, she was open to it. I was lucky in that, and we ended up going to therapy together as well. But it was hard. It wasn't easy because I just could not understand. I couldn't bear my daughter having immunization injections, let alone. And I really wanted to understand how. And I remember the therapist really helped us through this. The therapist said to me, your mother lived in an environment where if she didn't do this to you, she wasn't going to be a good mom. And that's why for me, the patriarchal system is something we have to really speak about, because my mom was under this really toxic patriarchal system that was telling her you're a terrible mom. So I've accepted, but she also had to accept, because I said, you should have run away with me. That's all I've done. So my mother has to accept that is that's what I would want it to happen. So we both accepted that for ourselves. And when things get tough, we both come back and focus on the fact that my daughter's not cut. So we focus on a positive. And that's how because we can't go back and change it. Yeah. And I remember the therapist really saying that to us, can you go back and change this? No, we can't. We cannot go back and change it. It was, we can only focus on the positive, which is my daughter who's not cut, who lives on her own at the age of 18. So we're breaking some serious cycles, so we can focus on that. Even now, like my daughter living on her own for my mother was so difficult. She's like, what? She's gonna be on her own? Really? And now she's like, oh, she's always in my house eating. She's not really living on her own. And I said, but because she gets to make that choice. So it's not this crazy fantasy we have if a girl lives on her own, like something terrible is going to happen. So my daughter has become the learning for both of us, a massive learning for both of us.
It's amazing because I've read about this idea of in a family system, there's one person that breaks the cycle. But what's amazing is you broke the cycle, but you brought your mom along with you. And that I think is
Yeah.
really,
And my mom was, but I was lucky though, because my mom was open to it.
yeah.
My mother was open to it, because not everybody's mom will be open to this. And I say this to my clients, you know, because the mother and daughter relationship is a constant theme that comes up in therapy. And we have a space now where we call the mother and daughter session, where they bring a letter and, you know, read what they really want to say to their mother. So that's it also. I want to clarify that my mother was very open to it.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people's mothers are not going to be open to this, but that's also okay. But it's just creating yourself that space where you can at least still have that say. And my mother apologized to me and my sister many times, many times.
Wow.
No.
So we're speaking a bit about society, and also, you know, your mom felt like she couldn't be anything else but what the society expected of her. And just to clarify, this is the Somali society, but this plays out in many societies, not just the Somali society, not just African
absolutely.
society. I mean, this is something that is throughout. But what's crazy is that here you are, you took a stand, you were fighting for injustice, and yet you still had your community up against you. So to walk us through that. Not only, how did you find the bravery? I mean, also, by the way, I want to give a shout out. You've got to see Leyla's documentary, The Cool Cut. I mean, also her documentary, Female Pleasure. We'll put all the links, but I mean, that scene is so powerful where you're speaking with the young men of your community. So how did you find the courage to do that?
Yeah. The documentaries were great. I mean, I got to present a documentary where I was, you know, showing, again, I was showing the system. You know, the people who don't like me were not attacking me because I was speaking against FGM. I was speaking against the system that allows FGM to continue, which is the patriarchy. So, no, please, you know, say FGM is wrong, but do not say men and women need to be equal. You know, but you see what I mean? It's like that's where the attacks and the, you know, I moved home like 3-4 times. I mean, I have serious security issues. You know, it's not a way to live, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's been I guess, I don't know if I'm being brave. I'm on it. I'll be honest with you. I'm scared. Like there is fear. Like people were threatening my child. But for me, I never felt I had a choice but not to speak about it. I guess I took on that. For me, it was like, if I don't say something about this, one, it's going to harm my child. I think my daughter really is the reason I speak, if I really deeply think about it. She needs to know that you can't be silent on these things. Absolutely not. And I think that definitely fuels me. And, you know, 18 years later, you know, I now get, you know, young women who say to me, hey, because of you, when I was bored, my mom read an article about you, and because of you, now I'm not cut. And da, da, da. So when you hear those when you see that, you're like, oh, okay. But I guess, with any movement, I think it comes with this. And now I train a lot of activists on how they maintain their well-being. I'm like, be careful when you get involved in movements. Yeah. I don't know any movement. I mean, just look at the civil rights movement till now. Yeah. You know, but somebody has to be brave and step up to that space. And some of us have taken, and I did say, so, you know, I've had death threats. I have fatwas on me. But I said, you know, somebody might kill me for this one day. I said, but I want people to remember me for why, not that I got killed, but Leyla stood up for something. I'm not saying that's what people should be doing. But if me speaking is scaring the patriarchy so much that someone had to take, that just proves why my voice has been so important. So for me, if anyone kills me, just proves how powerful I was. And I want people to remember that instead of me being killed. Do you see what I mean?
I do. I mean,
it's like, really, you had to go to that extent.
You have to go to that place.
But you see what I mean? But it's yeah.
No, I do. I expect us to
be for me, it's
working together for many, many years to come in health. no one's touching my
we will be in hell. But what I'm saying is it's not even about me being brave. It's like, We have to do something. Listen, I don't want my great granddaughters worrying about dealing with this problem, issues. They'll have the other issues they're going to be dealing with, but not this.
And not this. I love that. We have to wrap up. So I just want to hear, I'd love to hear what's on your bucket list. Like, what's next? What are you dreaming about these days? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, what a good question. Oh my goodness. I have one thing on my bucket list. It's making me emotional, actually. God, I wasn't expecting that.
You made me cry. Seems like we both needed it this year.
I just, I need a bit of a break. I need time. I need a bit of healing time. It's been tough, especially last year, you know, holding so many activists. I created a space for activists online, and it's just been, that's why I literally this morning I realized, oh my God, I've entered a PTSD stage, because it's like we survived it and now I'm holding the secondary trauma of this. And I'm like, oh, and I think coming to Kenya was that for me. I just needed to like go somewhere and create a better environment for myself. So taking care of myself is on my bucket list right now. I have to take care of Leyla. And it's like stepping away from the role of mummy, stepping away from a lot of things, because I really just need to go and just refuel Leyla. That is definitely on my bucket list right now.
Oh,
only one thing.
So much for being so real about that and not sugarcoating it. I mean, I think your tears and that honesty is so necessary right now. We think we just have to keep holding and holding and moving and moving. So thank you. I want to meet you in Kenya.
Please come. This is my heaven. This is where Leyla gets to be herself. And I know I needed to come back somewhere and just be like, I need to refuel. I need to refuel my energy. It's that's where I'm at.
I love that. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, sweet Leyla. I'm sending you so much love. And
thank you so much.